Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Hometown Musician Spotlight. And my guest today, you can find tickling the ivories all over Northwest Indiana, multiple times a week, and sometimes multiple times a day. It is my pleasure to bring in keyboardist extraordinaire, Pamela Rocha. Thanks, Pam.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm glad you could join me.
Me
Looking
too.
forward to this.
Me
Yeah,
too.
pretty
Super
cool setup
excited.
here, huh?
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Pam's new release, The Unadventures of Alice, a little bit later in the program and dig into that. But for now, we are going to dig into your early childhood, your past, how you got here. So if you don't mind telling us, Pam, where were you born? Where'd you grow up? And what schools did you go to?
I was born in the Munster Community Hospital. Grew up in Griffith, just north of 45th. So we had our street. My grandma's street was the next, and then my cousins. So we were all just a block away from each other, which was nice. And then sorry, what was the other
Yeah. Just what schools you went to.
school? Okay, so Griffith High School. So
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, went to Wadsworth and then Griffith High School.
Mhm.
So
It's nice having family close by, right? Having
yes.
that support system. So was there anybody in your family or can you point to a time in your life when you first kind of caught your music bug? Was it a record? Was it a place?
Just was always there. We had a really old piano in our basement in that house in Griffith. Some of the keys would even stick, after playing them, but I would start playing stuff by ear and my mom would notice,
Mhm.
her mom was really good at piano and organ and played for church. So,
Mhm.
she thought maybe I had that handed down and, that definitely was the case. So she, started me in private lessons and I took private lessons for a long time and was classically trained, which
Mhm.
is the best training in my opinion. You learn so much technique and theory, with that. So, um, so yeah, that was most of my training, and then self-taught other genres, of course, too.
Mhm.
So
Is that piano still in the family too? Is it still
I
around?
have no idea where that thing is. It's gone. So, but my dad upgraded, like, once I got serious about it, found, he was a big fan of, what is it? The Penny Saver. I don't know, some magazine you could find used things, and he found a really nice piano for me and got it in the house, and so that was in the living room, and it was kinda hard to get practice time a lot because if the family was eating dinner or the family was watching TV, I couldn't just put headphones on. It's like a real upright piano, so but I just absolutely loved playing. Any chance I got, just was on there playing, and, my grandma would encourage it a lot too, so
Yeah. Do you remember the first song you learned? I remember I had an organ once when I was a kid, and I think I played Marietta Little Lamb, and I wish they still had an organ, but, I mean, were those some of the first but our classical training's a little bit different?
Yeah, first by ear, it was Heart and Soul, from that movie Big. They played it on the piano on the floor, and I would just always and then I would try to figure out, Unchained Melody. I really loved that.
Mhm.
But then throughout my training and studying, I wanted music to sound a certain way, and I would get mad, it would go in a different direction than I would anticipate when I'm sight reading, so I decided to start writing my own and make it sound like I want it to,
Mhm.
so
So when you look back at those, younger days when, you might have been a teenager, let's say, who were some of your friends or classmates? Can you remember anybody that you collaborated with or whether even if it was a school play?
Um, I know I was, like anything they had in high school or junior high, I was involved. If it had music, I was in it. And so we had jazz band, concert band, marching band, pep band, and then even the choir needed like a pianist to accompany them. In the jazz band, I played piano. In concert band, I played clarinet. I
Mhm.
actually wanted to be a drummer, but with
Yeah.
a three-bedroom home, and five people living there, my parents were just not
Yeah.
into the idea.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that my mom did push piano because
Mhm.
I can accompany myself, solo and write on there too. So, but there were some local bands, through high school years, and I wasn't involved, but they would have me come open for them, play like a solo spot, before their show sometimes, or stuff like that, and I would attend their shows. But yeah, I didn't have a ton of musical friends. It just was always kind of more solo. I was in a couple garage bands, through high school.
Yeah.
So
A lot of our guests that see you regularly know you from the Aftermath, a great band, a local band, and more recently you've formed a group, that 70s group. Is that the correct? Yeah, which I know you'll have something to say a little bit later. So how did you transition into kind of making it your business, let's say?
Uh, I have been through so many careers, and kind of got to a point where I went through a life and death experience, and it really pulled me back toward music. Why am I not using this? And just thinking like, gosh, if I could get paid to play music, that's like the best job in the world. So
Yeah.
just really working at it, and I've been playing piano for 30 some years, and vocals, though I had never had really training in that. So decided, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, to start like training and taking lessons with vocals so I could get more confident in that. Uh, so I play a little guitar, and as I would play guitar, it was a lot easier to sing and play guitar than it was to sing and play piano. So, but noticed my love for singing as well. So started training in that. And
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this new 7-song album, The Unadventures of Alice. And, right from the first few notes of the opening song, Alice in Dystopia, I don't know how you did it, but there is like a little dystopian kind of few chords to that song, which kind of leads right into it. And I like the way your lyrics can kind of, you stretch them in it, if that makes any sense. But tell us what maybe, because there's a lot of songs we're going to talk about this, but any specific things come to mind when you think about that song?
it's we go through so much ups and downs in life, and sometimes you just feel like you're in a black hole. You don't know how to get out, and it happens in different ways, different events, and different, just different days. And you can't stay there, you have to climb your way out. So I wanted to write a song. I've always loved Alice in Wonderland. To me, it's so symbolic of so many things in our real life, that story. So always wanted to write something that would collaborate with that idea. And then it popped in my head one day that, so that song is really a story of, being in that black hole and how she's going to find her way out, and it was supposed to sound a little fairy tale-ish, which is what you're referring to. So
Well, your album there and your words, I think, really are going to resonate with women. I can tell that some of your lyrics come from that heart. I'm Gone is pretty much, that woman who's, I've had enough. I've really tried everything. And the third song, though, I really like, My Heart Is Yours Now. And I really love the line where you say, you jump my fence and you pretty much seen my mess. And then it turns out that, hey, you like my mess, I like your mess, and we're so thankful that we have it. So can you talk to us about those songs, and if there were any um, inspirations for those songs?
yeah, My Heart Is Yours Now is track 3 on the album. That's basically a girl who has had trust issues from past relationships and has found somebody that she could just rebuild that part of herself and like trust again. And they trust each other. And I think both went through kind of that thing, So songs are inspired by, most of the time for me, different things in the world that I see, or like pick something up from a TV show, or pick something up from my life, or that I saw in another relationship. So by the end of a song, it's a collaboration of a lot of ideas typically.
Yeah.
So
I mentioned that I'm done song. I tell you, it's a blues song.
Yeah.
It really is. It is a blues song, but maybe not in your contemporary form, if you will. And so I really enjoy that one too. The last two songs, and we're just jumping around a little bit. You get to show off your stylings, and it does take you through a little journey. If you follow it through.
Yeah.
How do you feel about those two instrumental songs at the end?
So those were written probably 20 plus years ago. A couple other ones on there were as well, and it kind of just took me where it wanted to take me. I had a couple new songs I recorded first, and then went through my older material to see what is worth recording and making into something. And by the time I had the first 5, it's like, okay, this is a really good group of songs that really fit together and could be a continuous story. And then decided to I'm just going to go record these instrumental tracks. I've been wanting to do this forever, and finally got good takes on them. I'd tried previous at different studios and just didn't get what I wanted. So I thought it was the perfect ending to that story.
Yes, it was.
Fairy tale and a big piece of me, a big piece of my past. So yeah.
I really enjoyed some of the other musicianship on the album. I don't who was playing the sax and the clarinet, and who was on the piano, and who was on the drums. Can you tell me who else collaborated with you on this?
So the studio I record in is Nick Rapley. He goes by the name of Bridge Williams when he performs. But super talented guy, and he just understood what I was going for. And when you finally meet the right producer who's understanding your ideas and supporting them, it just takes off. So I'm a fan of the old Stax recordings, a lot of soul and just how they used real instruments. And he has all of that set up to where we're not just using the computer to create sounds, so I recorded on a 100-year-old piano that he has there, and he would get it tuned every week so that, the day we recorded the Alice track, it was slightly out of tune, but to me, it was perfect again because it's kind of dreamlike. So just happened to work out great. But so he recorded drums. He is a drummer.
Okay.
And then he would do the bongos, any rhythm section stuff. So and then the sax player is Bo Schneck. I don't want to say his last name wrong, but yeah, a really talented guy named Bo, and he's a phenomenal sax player. He just understood, and he tried as long as we wanted to get what we needed. He also plays flute, so he did the flute on the 3rd track, the 4th track on there. So, and then Billy is a guy who played on the bass for the tracks as well.
Okay.
But all super nice professional people to work with, and I was just blessed for it to all come together.
Yeah,
so
it flowed real well. And I have been to Dr. Richard's Audio Remedy studio before, and if you can't feel comfortable there, because
it's a vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What are some of the more fun things or places that your music has taken you in the last couple of years? Maybe some surprises.
It's always an adventure to do music. You never know where it will take you and with who. And that's what's so fun. It's just, you don't know what's around the corner ever. And last August, I got to play a private event with Kelly Kay from Night Ranger. That was definitely the highlight of my year. And he's a super nice individual to work with. And then I did a private party one time. I didn't know whose house I was even showing up at, and had my friend drive me because I was up late gigging the night before, and it was an early gig. So at the end, the woman gave me a cleaning brush, and it was that company Libman.
Oh yeah, Libman, sure.
It was the Libmans, like they own a company. So I was in her house playing her piano for her birthday, and you just never know where it's going to take you. And it's so fun to meet people, and they are so appreciative of your music and what you brought into their life, even though it's like temporary. Like I think it stays with them,
Yeah.
So, but I would say those were the two highlights I can think of off the top of my head from last year. And any local artists I got to jam with or play with or collaborate with, like it's all just moments to cherish.
Yeah. Pam, what's the Northwest Indiana music scene like right now, and how has that shaped you as an artist?
That's a good question. In Northwest Indiana, we're close to Chicago, but it's not like a big city would be where there's music every corner you turn and even original music. There's really not a lot that supports original music. There are a few select venues that really do try to support it, which we're appreciative of. And so it's really had pushed me and more to like being in a cover band and doing a lot of covers, and learning covers are great. That's where you learn a lot, about music and a lot about, writing and things. But there's not a lot of incentive for people in this area to be doing original music.
Yeah, it's tough.
But then I also feel if I were to move to Nashville, it's just overpopulated with people doing that. So I really don't know what the magic answer is. I think just, being true to yourself and your sound and getting it out there where you can. The right people would find your music. I don't know if it necessarily matters where you live. I mean, just trying to figure that out as I go.
Yeah.
But
Can you ever recall, let's say, a breakthrough moment when maybe the first time you said to yourself, "Hey, you know what? This could be a thing for me." Any one specific moment?
Well, as I was studying vocals, with vocal teachers, I had to perform in talent show, and I always suffered extreme anxiety and nerves. It's part of what took me so long to perform the way that I do now. And just the one performance, I could see that, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that how it feels and what I'm communicating with the audience and how it's making me feel in the exchange of energy. And it just solidified everything. So
Nice. If you had one of these songs on this album that did mean the most to you, I don't know, it could be the title song, but is there any one of them that just uh, is the most heartfelt, you would say?
when I'm writing, I don't want to write garbage. I want quality stuff, and I've written plenty of songs that I'll never record because if it doesn't make me feel something, I can't expect it to make other people feel happy or capture something.
Yeah.
They all have a lot of meaning, but I would say that first track, the Alice, in Dystopia, is I could finally capture just what I wanted there and in the right words and in the right melodies. But that track 5, I'm Done, is also just the perfect finish to that. And
Yeah.
that one is more of a blues song where it's from a woman's perspective, where there's probably not a lot of those out there.
That's
It's
what
like,
hit me. That's a blues song right there.
I had to sit and think, like, what would women have to complain about? What are they going through? And that's what the point of that one was.
Yeah. So when you're in your creative process, when you're thinking about these songs, is there a setting or a time of day or time of year when your creative juices are flowing more?
It's typically when after I've played a gig, I get home, I'm completely spent, and you going through the gig process is great. You expel a lot of emotions, and just kind of refresh yourself. It's kind of therapy for you as well as the people listening. But once I'm in that state and just kind of chilling out with my dogs at home, and that's usually the best time to write, when I'm completely spent, but then still want to sit at the piano and just, come up with something heartfelt. Typically, and so yeah, finding time to write, it's hard, sometimes.
So yeah, finding that balance is pretty key, between the family life of writing and then going out and actually traveling because I mean, you probably have a lot of miles put on your car too, you know.
Yeah.
So when I hear your voice, and I mentioned to you the other day that I felt like there's a little bit of a Carole King-ish, something to your voice, and then you said, "Well, I do that quite often."
Yeah.
Is that one of the people that you might emulate, so to say, or the voice, or
Yeah, and I didn't grow up just wanting to be Carole King or anything. It's just once I started like, okay, what am I gonna do for solo material and
yeah,
sifting through options, like I can sound a lot like her and she has very talented with her writing. You wouldn't know just and then once you look at her chord structures, it's like, wow. And then Christine McVie is another one I get frequently, but I really did, study a lot of '90s female art. So many '90s female artists emerged back then, and I loved that. Fiona Apple, Tori Amos, Courtney Love. There's so many that I tried to mimic, and but really going further back, my mom would put on a lot of oldies. Otis Redding is definitely my favorite. Any of the soul singers, so Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, just you try to study and mimic,
hmm
and see what it sounds like. So
yeah. So you got a rock and roll heart, but you got a little taste of some of that other stuff. Have you ever like delved into any country-ish type stuff yet, or is that something maybe for the back burner?
I definitely grew up on '90s country. We all did. That was the thing, and that was the best period of time for country in my opinion, but, I just don't have the accent. So for me, it just isn't the same. I could kinda do a song or two, but it's just, to me, missing. It's lacking
Yeah.
because of the but I spent a lot of time with my dad growing up as well. He always wanted a boy in the family, and he had 3 girls. So, yeah, I was the middle child and easygoing, so I would hang with him a lot in the garage. He would have a lot of '70s rock on and just picked up so much from that, and still, like, we'll go to concerts together, whoever we can catch, like,
That's awesome.
he gave me his whole vinyl collection, and, he's even though he's not a musician, he wouldn't know how to play an instrument or anything, he's very well versed just in knowing good music, so
Yeah. Man of my heart. He's a man of my heart. I'm not a musician either, but boy, I sure love my
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
And that's the strange thing. I love classic rock. I grew up on that, but when I sit down at the piano and write, it's
Mhm.
such a different
Yeah.
side that
Yeah.
comes out. So
Now it's kind of hard to look ahead, especially when we're in the right here, right now of
Mhm.
this new album. But if you could allow yourself to look ahead
Yeah.
at your musical ladder
Mm.
or your ladder of musical aspirations, let's say, is there any wild dreams out there still yet?
I mean, of course, you always want to be in a position to repay your parents for everything they've done. My mom and dad both have supported music so much for me. My mom working so hard to pay for my lessons each week, and
Yeah.
if I could be in a position to repay them, and I know that they would never expect that, but, I just uh, wherever it wants to take me, I'm good with, yeah, whether it's local or it's beyond,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just open, so
Yeah. So, I ask a couple fun questions too. I don't know if you're ready for these, but so if there was one venue, any room, a shed, a stadium, anywhere that if you had your dreams, you can play in anywhere in the world, whether that place still exists, what would be your pinnacle room?
this is weird. It just I've never been asked this, and this is what popped in my head first. Probably the Sistine Chapel, if I could play something really,
Well,
soulful in there.
yes.
I think that would be
Under
a
Michael
really great
Bublé's work.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what would feel better, maybe. I don't know.
Wow. Now that is a great answer. Yeah, I've heard some good ones, and I've heard a lot of them from Europe also. But that's a great answer. The other one would be if you could take some other musician's place for a whole weekend, you could live their life a whole weekend on and off stage, past or present, or if there was a band where you could nudge that keyboard player out and play with that band for a while, who would that be?
That I've thought about. That I would say, Sade, she was great voice, phenomenal, just so soothing and healing with her voice. It
Mhm.
just her band is phenomenal. It's so classy. Like I would definitely switch places with her for
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. That would be really,
she
really
seems like
cool.
she's been through a lot and she's just super
Mhm.
strong and just, is finding the silver linings,
Yeah.
which is
So when you're playing, we're one more question before that, but when you're playing, and I think I know the answer, but can you really feel that audience? Does the power of the audience help the musician, and what does that feel like?
yeah. I've always been, I don't know, everyone's got intuition, but just super intuitive and sensitive to people's energy. And while I'm performing, I typically songs will pop in my head randomly, or I'll just feel, I should play this song or I should play that song.
Mhm.
And so I'll just follow that, my
Mhm.
gut feelings. And then typically sometimes someone will come up and say, like, that was exactly the song I needed to hear. And
Yeah.
like, that's the whole point of the job for me. Just,
Is that what they call reading the room?
yeah,
They
I
say.
suppose.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard the term,
Yeah.
and somehow it seems like it fits.
I really
Well,
feel musicians are the messengers and healers of the world, So
well, there's no doubt that it is it brings everything together in good times and bad
yes.
times.
Yes.
So Pamela Rocha Music, let us,
Mhm.
Pam, what are all of the platforms? How do people get a hold of your album and follow you and keep up with your busy schedule? Because it is busy.
And I'm trying to, work-life balance is hard, but, gonna do better this year, I think. And, so yeah, I have a website, Pamela Rocha, ROCHA.com.
Pamela Rocha.
Mhm. Yeah,
I've been saying Rocha. Is
it's
Rocha?
okay. It's
Okay.
Rocha,
That's
but
everybody watch it. It's Pamela Rocha. I just learned. Now we all know.
it's okay. And then, on Facebook, Pamela Rocha Music, and Instagram as well. It's the same name.
Mhm.
So and then I'm on Spotify, YouTube, like really any platform that would have,
Yeah.
the music, and there's a music video for the first track of the album as well. So
Yes, I've seen the video.
yeah.
I've been listening on Spotify myself. So those are great ways to get a hold
Yeah.
and see some of Pam's work.
Mhm.
And if you can, follow any of these media forms and get out and see Pam. You really need to see it, including me. But anyway, that is going to wrap this edition up for the Hometown Musician Spotlight. We had a wonderful time talking.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank Pam Rocha again for sitting down with me. And until next time, peace, everybody.
Walking through the woods just the other day again. Sun was shining on my face and the leaves were turning red. I came across this black hole and I thought, is this where Alice went? When she saw that white rabbit and he led her to another land. Down in a hole's where I belong. I'm better off not seeing anyone, 'cause I know it's gonna show, I'm gonna cry again. So I jumped down that black hole and I thought, this is it. Pumped a lot of branches and the dirt was getting thick.